My name is Alex, and I'm 40 years old. My wife, Lisa, is the same age. We've been together since we were 19. Our relationship began in a whirlwind of young love and unexpected responsibility. Lisa got pregnant before we were married, and we tied the knot soon after finding out. Our journey has been tumultuous, marked by both joyous moments and deep betrayals. The first 10 years of our marriage were marred by what Lisa called emotional affairs. She always insisted they were harmless, just connections with other men that didn't involve physical intimacy. But emotional infidelity can be just as damaging, and it took a toll on our relationship. The trust we once had was eroding, slowly but surely. In 2013, our son joined a local basketball team, and Lisa met Mark, his coach. Mark was also a police officer, a charismatic man in his early 40s. One weekend, Lisa asked me to take some nude pictures of her. It was a strange request because she had never asked for anything like that before. I was taken aback, but I went along with it. A few weeks later, Lisa confessed that she had sent those photos to Mark. She admitted to having a physical affair with him that summer. The pain of her betrayal was overwhelming. We separated for a while and sought counseling. The therapy sessions were intense, but we decided to give our marriage another chance. Rebuilding trust was an uphill battle, and every day felt like walking on eggshells. Fast forward to the present, and my suspicions have returned. Over the past couple of months, Lisa has been flirting with younger guys over text and even in front of me. She recently got a job that required her to travel out of town. Her boss, a man with a questionable reputation, had been caught with a prostitute the previous year. This made me uneasy, but I tried to trust Lisa. Yesterday, the day she was supposed to come back home, things took a strange turn. Lisa told me her boss had let her use his car to go to the airport. She left the house she was staying in at 11 a.m., but her flight was at 4 p.m. It should have taken her about 2 hours to get to the airport. After 3.5 hours of her driving, I called her to see if she was okay. She sent me to voicemail after one ring. I texted her, and she said she was trying to get to the airport and would call me back. Lisa's story didn't make sense. She claimed she got lost, pulled into a construction site, saw two young guys, asked for directions, and then asked one of them to drive her to the airport. I was confused. Why would she ask a complete stranger to drive her in her boss's car? When I picked her up, she gave me a side hug and was very hesitant about kissing me. She said she had to use the restroom and was in there much longer than usual. When we got home, I noticed that she wasn't wearing any panties. Lisa never goes commando, especially at an airport where she could be searched and patted down. This raised red flags in my mind. I talked with her last night, and she insisted she wasn't cheating but admitted to flirting like I had suspected. Her story about the construction guys didn't add up, and that's what she used as an excuse for why she couldn't take my call and why she was delayed getting to the airport. The fact that she wasn't wearing panties when we got home made me think she ditched them at the airport because something happened with those guys or her boss. I tried to have sex with her last night, but she said she was too tired. The next morning, I decided I needed answers. I couldn't keep living with this constant doubt and suspicion. I sat Lisa down and told her we needed to talk. She looked at me with a mixture of annoyance and guilt, which only fueled my suspicions. "Lisa, I need you to be honest with me," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "What really happened yesterday? Your story doesn't make sense." She sighed and looked away. "Alex, I've told you everything. I got lost, asked for directions, and ended up getting a ride from one of the construction guys. That's it. Why didn't you answer my call?" I pressed. "And why weren't you wearing panties when we got home?" She fidgeted uncomfortably. I didn't answer because I was stressed and trying to find my way. And as for the panties, I don't know. I must have forgotten to put them on after using the restroom at the airport. Her excuses were weak, and we both knew it. I could feel the anger and frustration boiling inside me. "Lisa, this isn't the first time you've lied to me. How am I supposed to believe you now?" Tears welled up in her eyes. "Alex, I'm not cheating on you. I've made mistakes in the past, but I'm not doing anything wrong now. You have to trust me." Trust. That was the crux of our problem. I wanted to believe her, but the evidence was stacking up against her. I decided to do some investigating on my own. I started by checking her phone when she was in the shower. There were messages from younger guys, nothing overtly incriminating, but enough to make me uneasy. I also called the hotel where she had been staying. The receptionist was helpful, confirming that Lisa had checked out at 11 a.m. as she had said. But when I asked about any interactions she might have had with other guests or staff, the receptionist hesitated. Well, she did spend a lot of time with her boss. They had dinner together almost every night. This was news to me. Lisa hadn't mentioned spending so much time with her boss. I decided to confront her with this new information. That evening, I brought it up. "Why didn't you tell me you were having dinner with your boss every night?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. She looked surprised. "I didn't think it was a big deal. We were just discussing work." "Every night?" I challenged. "And why didn't you mention it to me?" She sighed. "Alex, you're making this into something it's not. Yes, we had dinner together, but it was purely professional." The more I pressed, the more defensive she became. It was a vicious cycle. My suspicions fed her defensiveness, and her defensiveness fed my suspicions. We were spiraling out of control. One night, after yet another argument, I couldn't take it anymore. I needed space to clear my head, to think. I left the house and went for a long drive. The roads were empty, and the night was quiet, but my mind was anything but. I thought about our past, about all the good times and the bad. I remembered the early years, how happy we were despite the challenges. I thought about our son and how much he needed us to be strong for him. But most of all, I thought about the trust that had been shattered so many times. When I finally returned home, it was late. Lisa was asleep, or at least pretending to be. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at her. I wanted to believe her, to trust her, but I didn't know if I could. In the end, I knew something had to change. We couldn't keep living like this, constantly at each other's throats, drowning in suspicion and doubt. I decided to seek professional help again, but this time for myself. I needed to figure out what I wanted and what I could handle. I started seeing a therapist, someone who helped me sort through my feelings and fears. It was a slow process, but I began to understand myself better. I realized that my need for control and certainty was driving a wedge between Lisa and me. But I also recognized that Lisa's actions, whether intentional or not, were contributing to the problem. One evening, after weeks of therapy, I sat Lisa down for what I hoped would be the last difficult conversation. "Lisa, I've been seeing a therapist," I began. "I'm trying to work through my issues, but I need you to be honest with me. Completely honest." She nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'll try, Alex. I need to know if there's anything else you're hiding from me," I said. "Anything at all." There was a long silence. Then, finally, she spoke. "Alex, I've been afraid to tell you the truth because I didn't want to hurt you. But yes, I've been hiding things. I've been struggling with my own issues, my own insecurities. I've been seeking attention and validation from others because I don't feel good about myself." Her confession was a relief and a heartbreak all at once. It explained so much, but it also hurt to hear. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" I asked. "I was scared," she admitted. "Scared of losing you, scared of facing my own problems." We talked for hours that night, laying everything bare. It was painful, but it was also cathartic. For the first time in a long time, we were truly honest with each other. Our journey isn't over. We still have a long way to go, and I don't know if our marriage will survive. But for now, we're trying to rebuild what's been broken. It's a slow process, and it's not easy. There are days when I still doubt her, and days when she still feels insecure. But we're working on it, one day at a time. Whether we'll make it or not, I can't say. But at least we're trying, and that's more than we've done in a long time. Our story doesn't have a happy ending, at least not yet. It's a work in progress, a journey of two flawed people trying to find their way back to each other. Whether we'll succeed or fail, only time will tell. But for now, we're holding on, hoping for the best, but prepared for whatever comes our way.